Very good game number 1 coming out from cybercats, putting in 1-0 in this first series of the day. We'll see what they're gonna be able to do in the second one as MoneyMakers. They did lose now 3 maps in a row. Maybe they're gonna be losing the whole series as well, because yesterday they lost 2-0 versus Sibe. That series versus Sibe, it was also, first game was very close, you know, and long, but the second one they just got demolished. So MoneyMakers, let's see if the result from yesterday is gonna be repeated once again. That would really be a bummer for them overall, as we'll find out soon. We'll find out soon what the verdict will be. The moment. Okay, so everybody is in the lobby. cybercats first pick Dire, MoneyMakers second pick Radiant. That's what's gonna be happening here between the teams. The first pick has been looking pretty solid. Well, Dire Radiant here in Division 2 is pretty much the same. How was it in Division 1? I think there was a bigger difference. Yeah, it was 60-40 in favor of the Dire. I want to see Dream League because that's the 20. Check there what the Radiant Dire win rates were. Can't find it. Seem to find sticks. There it is. So wait. Okay, so 53-47. Okay, so no differences there basically. That's quite nice. At least in Dream League, a little bit more of heroes were played, but there's just so many games there, so it's only natural that that's gonna be the case. Let's look at the potential tiebreakers here. I do have the document about it. So the tiebreakers are gonna be starting tomorrow at 12 CEST. So at noon, basically. We have a chance of there being a 3 best of 3s. That is, if both Sibe and cybercats lose, then that's what's gonna happen. If both cybercats and Sibe win, then then we're gonna be starting at 11 CEST. Okay, that's cool. And then we're gonna have if both of them win on cybercats and Sibe, there's gonna be a 4-way tie, as well as, so cybercats and Sibe will play. That's interesting, even though they have both been eliminated. So there could be a very long day of tiebreakers tomorrow. If there's a situation where we don't see tiebreakers. No, there's no situations like that. So if MoneyMakers win versus cybercats and Sibe wins versus Matryoshka, a little closely at the moment. And 1. If they both win, they're both gonna be 2, having 2 wins, so they're gonna play each other. This is there's a lot of things to talk about. I guess we'll just wait for this series to end, and then we're gonna see with which option we're left. But actually, the 2 teams, the 2 bottom teams, will be playing versus each other if they're both victorious, if they both lose. So that is gonna be quite fun if that does happen. Anyways, the draft is ready here for game number 2. So let's focus on the game at hand. MoneyMakers, if they lose this, there is a chance that they're gonna be the 6th on the leaderboard, on the standings, which, considering that they almost got themselves into potential tiebreaker for Division 1, it's kind of annoying. Cybercats, they're again gonna go for the PL. This time around, it's not gonna be the Undying morph, but it will be a Spirit Breaker morph. MoneyMakers, they had that in the previous one, and now I don't think the Cybercats need to put the emphasis on banning out the Undying. Cybercats, they came today to play. They really did. MoneyMakers, will they have an answer to the PL this time around? Last time they crushed the early game. It is not 100% certain that that's what's gonna happen once again. You could ban out the techies if you're a Cybercats, if you're afraid of the same lane, the techie Spirit Breaker crushing you once again. But I think you've probably learned something from that experience. No, they're gonna go with the same 3 bans. They don't care. Pick up your techies, pick up your Undying, do whatever you want, MoneyMakers. It's not gonna be enough versus RPL, and considering how well Dark Lord performed in the previous one, I think that's probably true. How much damage the PL did in that previous game? 60,000. The Queen of Pain came close with 53. But the next one was Invoker with 44. Dark Lord was just on another level. There's the techies, so they're gonna go with the same thing. Invoker is gonna be banned out this time around if they go that route, but Cybercats, they switch things up. It is gonna be a Lycan and the Rubik that they pick up, which are 2 great heroes versus the Morphling, both of them reducing his damage percentage-wise with the Howl and the Fade Bolt. So that's gonna make him a pretty weak hero at times in the game. And it's not gonna be easy in the lane either. Last time he had an Undying, I'd still be okay with it. The reason they switched things up is because now they don't have a Beastmaster. I thought maybe if they pick up a Lycan, then they're gonna go for the Snapfire as well, but they see Rubik as a better one. Not a lot of great spells to steal. I guess you can get those from the techies. They'll go for the Ember. That's a great counter for the PL. When we look at Cybercats, their ability to hold the Ember down, it's not there. But still, MoneyMakers, you're gonna have to ban out some Ember counters, the Necros, the Huskars as well.
10 seconds
because
remaining.
there is a Chen on the other side, so I think the Huskar would actually be really decent.
5 seconds remaining.
Okay.
Cybercats, they're the ones with the last pick though, so you know, I did see a position 5 Ember today, so it wouldn't surprise me if I see it here again. Then it would be an offlane Spirit Breaker and it would just pick something versus the Huskar. But what I would want MoneyMakers to ban out here is the Necro. Necro is just way too good versus the Ember in lane and versus the Morphling in the game. It's just impossible to play versus it. And Cybercats do need a damage dealing hero. They're all quite mobile, like to run around on the map, and having an immobile mid laner really doesn't change that all that much. Cybercats now, they're taking their time because you don't know what to ban. This could be a 5 Spirit Breaker, it could be an offlane Spirit Breaker, you just don't know. But I would say that you already have enough to deal with the PL if you're Cybercats. Enough fish, it depends. Like how strong he actually gets. He'll get rid of the Underlord, yeah, that's a good one. Neither the Lycan nor the PL like playing versus it. Crimson Guard carrier. Last game they didn't pick it up on MoneyMakers, I think. Let me check. I think they didn't. I don't remember a I know Crimson Guard. That was a mistake, right? This time around you have to get it. PL Lycan, it's pretty much a given. There's nothing else that even comes close to the value of that item. Same was true in the previous game though, and they still didn't get it. There will be an Axe ban. I like that one. The Invoker gets taken out. This is the thing. This is the last day of Division 2. And here Young G picked up the Invoker, and MoneyMakers, they don't want to be playing versus it again.
Dire team pick.
SF will get removed. So the Necro and the Huskar are still in if Young G wants to play that. He has a little bit of an on the flashy side, so playing heroes like the Huskar and the Necro doesn't really fit him all that much.
10 seconds remaining.
But let's see. Let's see what it's gonna be.
5 seconds remaining.
Tough one, tough one. I actually like the bans from MoneyMakers. You could still go for the Necro. I really wouldn't mind. I think it would be a great pick. Because neither the Morphling or the Ember like playing versus it. Even if the Morphling starts morphing into strength, your HP is still staying at the same percentage, roughly. So the Reaper Scythe is still going to be quite dangerous for you. Because it does damage for every HP point missing. Cybercats.
Radiant team.
They're taking their sweet time. It is gonna be the Necro. There it is. Yang G says, give it to me. Do you switch the Ember to another position? Do you just pick like an Undying again? Nah, just no Undying versus the PL, please.
10 seconds remaining.
Actually, it would be nice with the Tombstone save. What's the other thing? Maybe
5
Shadow
seconds
Demon,
remaining.
save people. Oracle is in the pool. Pretty shitty though versus the Lycan and the PL. The Oracle would suffer. But you might want some save for this Necro, because he's gonna have a good time in the mid lane unless you switch out the Ember somewhere else. And I just don't see the Ember working out if he's not a mid lane hero. So I would be very surprised if they would try to go for it. Today I was baffled at how insignificant the Ember was. Though I do think that the game that I casted today, he actually had the wrong build. Taking their time, they're thinking, and if I was Yegor, I'd be hating myself right now. Like, why? Or I'd be hating life. Why do I have to play versus the Necro? That's the hero that the Ember hates. Moneymakers. They are, they're thinking long and hard, putting the fingers on their forehead, maybe to increase the blood flow a little bit.
Choose your hero.
You can't kill the egg. I'm gonna give them that. The attack speed of Cybercat sucks. It is a spirit vessel carrier, which is good versus the Chen and the Necro. But let's say you lose the mid lane as the Ember. Who's making plays? Who's killing people? It's gonna have to be Bignum and Vierge. And I'm not sure about this. I actually think this could be a 2-0. Cybercats, they're coming in with some different drafts today. And it's working out for them. It seems like they have been practicing this PL, and the hero worked wonders for them in game number 1. It might just do so again, even though this time I think that Cybercats might be doing even better in the laning phase. Probably not, but you have counters to the Morphling and the Necro. Also, you counter his damage with the Fade Bolt and the Howl. The PL, we saw that he could be a big nuisance. This time around, of course, there is the Phoenix and the Ember, which are both good heroes versus the PL. But those two heroes that are good versus the PL are going to be slowed down quite a lot. The laning phase of the Morphling will be catastrophic, right? Because you have a Phoenix that isn't really a hero that's going to help you much. I'm thinking 2-0 Cybercats here. That would be really cool if they do get the victory here and Sibe wins versus Matryoshka. Though that second one is a little bit hard to imagine. Even though Sibe, you know, on paper, when you look at their players, they really should be better than what their results are giving them credit to. But they did beat Moneymakers yesterday with relative ease, 2-0. In Moneymakers, they're facing a 2-0 loss once again. If they lose, they're going to be going into at least a 3-way tie tomorrow. Maybe even a 4-way tie if Matryoshka does lose. We are going to be going on to the EGB video now before we get ourselves into game number 2.
Bets on esports, bets on streamers, impressive bonus system. Welcome bonus up to $600, cashback, artifacts, regular promotions, daily giveaways. Try yourself as a bookmaker. Great lines. EGB.com, more than just a bookmaker.
And there we are, game number 2 underway. And Young G is gonna say, Yegor, ja tvoj fanat, which means I'm your fan. Cybercats, they're still not favored by the odds of EGB here. Seems like Moneymakers. Their draft has convinced the viewers and EGP they can still play, that they can still win. We'll see how that one goes. I still like the Cybercats draft. I think if you can play around your Necro after he crushes the Ember in the mid lane, it's gonna be huge. We'll see how well Yegor can actually stand his ground versus the Necro. Should not be easy. It never is. Usually you do well level 1, level 2, level 3, then from level 4 you're screwed, and once the level 6 hits you're most likely dead. We did see a Necro pick versus Navi that was doing well for them. Ultimately they still did lose, but definitely that Necro was looking good. Wait, who played that yesterday? It was Storm that played it. Their first game. A second game they just got smashed, which is normal versus Navi. They deservingly so got themselves to a the first spot there on the standings. Bignum finds the ward there. Nice influx of gold, nice influx of experience for the little goblin techies. Let's see this mid lane. Yegor is gonna be spammed, right click, annoyed as much as possible here by Young G, and there's not much you can really do about it. You're just an Ember. You can hope that you get as many last hits as possible. Once the Heartstopper aura comes into play, that's where the pain really starts. Bottom lane, Slayer, he's gonna be doing his best to secure the creeps for the Morphling, but that's gonna be a little bit tough to do. Lycan is usually pretty solid at CSing because he has his Lycan wolves to assist as well. And bottom lane, we'll see if Cybercats have learned anything from the previous game, because they did lose quite heavily to this matchup. Maybe now they're gonna have a different tactic going into it. Or they maybe just find better creeps on the Chen, which also can make a difference as well. Bottom lane, Morphling, farming okay. Lycan falling as well, but there's a guy that's suffering. Yegor, no sleight of fist, meaning that this range creep is being denied as well. 12-4, 7-0, and it's only going to get much, much worse for Yegor. Usually a couple of early levels the Ember does well. Now with the level 2 in Flame Guard and the bottle, it's going to be slightly easier. The thing with the Necro is that you don't really have to get the bottle ever. That really changes the matchup quite a lot, because you need to spend 600 gold with something that the Necro pretty much has built in, and that's mana and HP regen. Necro probably already started off with the 1 up, so he's going to have that as well, as the Ember does like spamming his spells quite a lot. Top lane, not going as badly for Cybercats as it did last time. The Chen is not dying. Dark Lord isn't dying. He is farming okay. Of course, it could be better, but he's not gonna be complaining, especially what happened after what happened in the previous game. Necro, he did get kind of low versus Yegor, but he will be getting back up to full in no time with the Heartstopper aura there, regen coming through with him. Okay, Focus, he picks up the Healing Lotus. Will be able to move himself away there quite easily. Slayer did secure the lane nicely for the Morphling. That's quite big, and once you're level 3 on the Phoenix, then you really start dishing out the damage. You almost double it up in terms of damage up. I think it's from 20 to 35. 20 to 40, you literally double it up. And I'm a big Phoenix player. I don't even know the damage of his spells. Apologize, guys. I'm gonna do better. Yegor continuing to get pressured here, but his CS is actually quite nice. Okay, going on Yegor. They have the blast off. They're gonna be trying to kill Young G. Very far used. He's dead. Yegor gets the first blood, and the Rubik TPs, but a little bit too late, my friend. Bignum finds a way, and he will be taking the war down as well. That's gonna be the second one that he brings down. As Moneymakers, that mid lane wasn't looking good for them. Now the Ember Spirit is stopping the net worth chart after the kill, and he's gonna be stealing the enemy bounty rune as well. Just at the time where the Necro needed to be at his strongest, he gets brought down. Beautiful rotation from Bignum, and Yegor will be giving a tip to Young G. I'm gonna guess there's a beat between the two, because usually we don't see this much of a back and forth between two players, but you know, I'm your fan, Yegor, and stuff like that. That can be seen as sarcastic, though who knows? Who knows? Maybe I'm just always looking at the bad side.
Structures are fortified.
Out of the laning stage, the PL this time around does better versus the Spirit Breaker. Quite big. DK Focus doing well for himself, but wasn't really able to slow down the Morphling. So the Morph will be having a grand all time in the bottom lane. Him and the Ember topping the network chart. For a Morphling, you can say that it's okay, but for an Ember, oh, that's a big hit to cybercats. A big one for sure. Ember will be getting level 6 pretty much at the same time as the Necro. It's something that's not only going to be benefiting him, but the entirety of the team. And Bignum still running around the mid lane, but this time around the Colossus is in the vicinity, so he will be helping his Necro survive if it does come to it. Reaper Sight at the ready. Yegor not that healthy. He's gonna be needing to be careful. If he's not, he could very easily get taken down as Young G. Now he does have help from his support, so not gonna be in any kind of trouble from being bursted down again by the techies. Power Rune on the bottom lane. Phoenix is trying to save it up, but in the end he will pick up the illusions just to make sure that the Necro doesn't get him. Wouldn't have made that much of a difference, the Necro illusions, but it's still nice to prevent your enemies from having it. PL is really having a much better time than in the last one. DK Focus, though, in the past couple of minutes, he hasn't been able to increase his net worth much. But he should still be fine on the Lycan, right? He has the Helm of Iron Will, so their ability to kill him, it's not really there.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Only one kill so far, but I'd say so far so good for Moneymakers. They got the most important kill on the map. Their Ember is doing well, much better than expected. If there was no First Blood, he would be close to 1,000 gold behind the Necro. He might have even died himself. There wasn't help like that. And yeah, better creeps here for cybercats. Vierk taking a lot of damage from them and into an ice armor. He can't really apply that much pressure to the PL, or as much as he would like. Gonna be going in ulti as well. Dark Lord getting low. Doppelganger just in time. One more hit is needed and Dark Lord will be dodging that attack. Oh, dodges the blast off as well. No way. No way he lives. The tower region gonna be helping as well with the healing salve being given to them. But immediately it will be cancelled out. Still, he lives through all of that. Vierk got level 6 just in the nick of time. But in the end, the damage was not sufficient. The ice armor helping the PL survive the right clicks from the techies, and the blast off not connecting was the thing that secured he was gonna live. DK Focus turns around there for a second. Now he spawns the wolves, and in the end he is gonna be both cooled off and burned by Moneymakers. The Slayer goes for the Sunray, and Lucas with the adaptive strike secures the kill. Nice start from Moneymakers. 1k gold lead for them. Last game, they had a 7k gold lead 20 minutes into the game. They were 11-1 in terms of kills, but they still lost in the end. Now, they're probably going to be looking to increase their lead even further. And just show cybercats how powerful they can actually be. Ember Spirit, regen rune at the ready. He needs to be somewhat careful here. Goes to the side. I think he was aware that he's going to fight there until he's close to the Young G being able to kill him. And then just remnant away, use the regen, and go back to farming in the top lane if it's possible. Vierk, Feather Strike, not gonna be happening. Lycan doesn't even need to use the shapeshift to survive. Very big. Nice stop there on the charge from Force Majeure without his lift. This would have been a bit of a different story for the Lycan. Usually it's the wolves that eat cows, but this one is a little bit different.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Kalis charged up, slide off his chains. He's definitely dead. The ice armor will kill him. He tries to dominate some creeps there, but that Mind Stealer might just lose his life immediately, and he will to the right click of the techies. Moneymakers, they get themselves another one as cybercats still remain with 0 kills on the board. They haven't been able to kill anybody, even having the 3 per side. When you look at their other heroes, they don't really have much to make use of it. And the thing is, the Necro is their main source of damage. With him, I mean, he did win the mid lane, but ever so slightly. He needed a bigger discrepancy between his and the Ember Spirit's farm. G gonna be going for Athos. Yegor. Gonna be jumping to the top lane there.
Dire's top tower is under
A Slayer. Oh. He does find some wards, both Slayer and Bignum. Bignum has been big on dewarding this game. This is the 3rd one that he'll be taken down. Cybercats in the Vision game, they're losing rapidly to Moneymakers. Lucas, he uses the Healing Lotus, gets half of his HP back. It's gonna be quite nice. Top lane proximity mines now finally can get armed up, and they will be used to do massive damage to the top lane tower. Techies and the siege creep should be able to bring it down. And speaking about bringing down towers, Young G in the mid lane is applying a lot of pressure to this one. There's a TP from the Spirit Breaker. Yegor coming forward. He's surrounded by enemies. They have the egg as well. Very hard for Young G to get out of this one. He's healing as much as he can, but I just don't see him living through all of the magical damage that they do have available. Young G will be taken down. Slayer will be the one that's responsible for dealing the final blow. Cybercats, without their Necro, their ability to do damage is non-existent, so you're just gonna have to back out. And there's a big difference in levels here between the supports of Cybercats and Moneymakers. Showing that probably the Wisdom Rune got stolen. I need to check that.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yep, Moneymakers got both the Wisdom Runes. It's a big deal. It's a huge deal. Moneymaker supports and Cybercats supports alike are very reliant on experience early on. And when one of them or 2 of them get a ton of it and the other 2 get none of it, it really does make a difference. Look at Slayer, he's level 7. This Phoenix is not to be underestimated. He might even kill Force Majeure. Misses on the last Flaming Spirit there. Look, just Stickers dive away. There is going to be an Athos, slowing him down a little bit. Young G. Slayer is going to be dodging there quite nicely, but he still dies. Reaper side does get the kill. Young G finally gets himself and his team on the board. We'll go for the Sanjin Kaya. No surprises there for the Necro. The Morphling, though, he's ahead of net worth of the Necrophos and the Ember. That should have been probably a 3.5k net worth at the moment, considering the matchup that he went against. Oh, this is gonna be something that you're gonna have to discuss on Cybercats. Young G, he's a really good player, but it seems like when he's not playing the matchup that he knows through and through, that he can just drop the ball so easily. The gold lead still isn't massive, so no reason for panicking on the side of Cybercats, at least not just yet. The Spirit Breaker, last time he had the Shadow Blade even earlier. This time around, his other 2 cores are actually having much better games, so they're going to be able to fight even more. The Morphling Cow, I guess he's going for a Manta. I'm no surprise there. It's going to be a Manta Aghanims for him. Moneymakers, they still haven't lost the mid lane towers. Necro being annoyed a bit. There is gonna be an egg as well. He gets healed up as much as they can. They're keeping him alive, but Young G is dead. They will bring down the egg, which is quite big. Penitence not gonna be connecting on Yegor. He actually doesn't dodge it there, which means that the tower is gonna be attacking him quite a lot, and he's dead. DK Focus, he's the one that waits for him at the remnant and just eats him up. Lycan the right place at the right time, ready to get himself a kill. This time around, they brought down the Necro, but it is gonna cost them 2 of their heroes. I'm surprised the Necro doesn't buy a casual cloak in this game. Casual cloak now is a little bit more expensive than it used to be, but it's still something. Rubik dies. That's a big one. Vierk with a DD. He didn't really need too many hits to finish off the Rubik. Now the Hand of God is ready. And Spirit Vessel, do they have it on anybody? No. The Phoenix is still working on it. So next time you go for the Necro, if you do not have the Spirit Vessel, and with the current state of the game, unless the Phoenix gets a couple of kills or a free lane, you're not gonna have it, then he's gonna live. And if he lives with that kind of a dive of yours, you're all screwed. Moneymakers. I don't know right now. I'm looking at their heroes and I'm thinking, do you want to slow things down or grab up the pace? I guess pick off, back out. Pick off, back out. You don't want big fights even though you have the egg. The Centaur. Courser, just running away. You have that nice magic resistance is brought to you. They found the Morphling. They have the Necro ulti if they need to. Bigner will be jumping in. There's going to be a lot of damage done by the proximity mines. Actually, they do bring down the mine before it does explode. But that blast off still saved the life of their Morphling. He'll be getting himself out. Versus the Reaper Scythe, you never know just how much damage the Necro is capable of doing to you.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And the bottom tower will fall. Right now, when you look at Moneymaker's position, they've just let it go. The PL is still farming. It's probably going to be the Aghanims, just like in the previous game. He is 350 gold away. That's going to be a much faster one than earlier. But he's still the bottom of the network chart out of the course. Okay, the Spirit Breaker is there keeping him company. But once you do get the Aghanim Scepter, you do increase the farming speed quite a lot. Phoenix dives out. He's gonna be caught, and the Reaper Scythe will make sure that he doesn't get the egg off. There's gonna be another Reaper Scythe, and again on the exact same target. So that's gonna be now 4 HP regen per second on the Necro. Gonna be quite happy with that. The dust for Force Majeure a little bit too late, and even if he did connect with it, the Spirit Breaker would have been able to just run away. Bulldoze too strong of a spell. You have Bulldoze, you have the Phase Boots, the Shadow Blade movement speed increase as well. It's too much. Flame, Ember, caught, jump in from the techies. Bignum is gonna try to kill Force Majeure, who does bring down the proximity mines. He did steal the spell there and puts down 2 mines, but doesn't matter because he does die, so it's not really gonna change much. Nice pick off for Moneymakers. They're still keeping this 2k gold lead. We saw in the previous game what happens if the PL gets out of control. The thing is, this time around you do not have a invoker to back him up, so he's gonna be a little bit more alone, but definitely stronger. The last tier 1 for Moneymakers. Cybercats, they still need to claim the one on top. Most likely won't be doing it anytime soon. Ancient Creep of the Lycan there. Helm of the Overlord at the ready. Morphling this time around, he's going for a Butterfly a little bit earlier, so he doesn't want to go for an Aghanim Scepter. He understood in the previous game that it was a tough item to use on the PL. Dark Lord, getting gone on, the charge will connect, needs to be careful with the Nether Strike. He's looking like he could die. The Hand of God will be protecting him. He's gonna be running to the side, and they know which one is being healed up. The chains do not connect, so Dark Lord a little bit lucky there, meaning that he's probably gonna live. Vierk still chasing forward, but now you've put yourself in a little bit of a nasty position. Penitence on him, which means the attack speed is gonna be quite high, and Dark Lord has the stake charges to keep himself alive versus the Morphling. Lucas doesn't even think about waveforming forward. Lycan with the shapeshift is gonna use the howl. Look at that damage decrease on the Morphling. It definitely does annoy him slightly. I'll see if that's something that you're gonna have to keep in mind for the later stages of the game. Maybe have a couple of ways to remove the damage reduction spells, the howl, the fade bolts. You're gonna have Satanic, you're gonna have Manta, and possibly a BKB at some point. So you might just be set to go with all of the items that Lucas is working for.
Dire's bottom tower
Cybercats, no shapeshift, but they do have an army of creeps. They're gonna be moving towards the bottom lane, not attempting to go for Roche here. A little bit dangerous if you do, because there's a Phoenix on the other side. Not level 12 just yet, but still very dangerous to attempt anything like it. The Phoenix does have a Spirit Vessel, 1 charge at the moment. He's working towards an Aghanim Scepter, so wants to be able to use that Sun Ray all the time. Radiate the Sun Ray from the Supernova. Lucas, he's doing a ton of damage to this tier 2. You don't have a glyph on Cybercats. If you do not commit anybody there, you're gonna be losing a tier 2 very early on in the game. That means no outpost for you. At least that one on the top lane can be taken away. But they do commit a couple of heroes. Will prevent the Morphling from getting the tier 2 super early on. This Chen is hella farmed. And he has a mech, has the Basilius. 1,700 gold on top of it. He wants to go for a pipe, and for a good reason. The pipe in this game is just amazing. Look at Moneymakers. Every single one of their heroes does magic damage. Morphling is going to be the only physical damage dealer later on. Yep, Ember going for a Radiance, so Yegor is itemizing versus the PL, but it's still going to be damage is going to be mitigated with the pipe. So the Kala's item choice will be making a lot of sense. Needs to use the mech, so they finish off the Tormentor. Penitence is great here for the Tormentor, actually. You can see how much attack speed they actually have. If only you could use that on the egg, Chen would be considered a Phoenix counter, but unfortunately you cannot. PL, Diffusal Blade at the ready. His farm hasn't really been that fast. I don't know what happened from the last game. I guess in the last game, once he got the Aghanim Scepter, he was getting some kills, being involved in the game with his team. Now that's not the case. Cybercats are favored to win quite heavily by Dota Plus. 61% at the moment, even though they're 2k gold behind. The PL versus the Morphling is just too good of a matchup. But the different build of the Morphling this time around might actually come in handy. A very early Butterfly could make a difference. Not saying it will, but it could. Chen, he got the shard from the Tormentor, which is nice. So you're gonna be having more than that one ancient creep from the Helm of the Overlord. And you can already see that there is an ancient granite golem there following everybody. Lycan went for the shard as well, so there's gonna be wolves on the map pushing out the waves. Quite nice. Considering that you're versus the Spirit Breaker, you do need some wave without committing to finish off the creeps in the waves. And it does give a lot of farm to the Lycan in general, having those wolves constantly farm the waves for him. As Roche will be taken down. That's going to be the first Roche, so only the Aegis into the pockets of Cybercats. Dark Lord goes out, Phantoms rush in, and the Roche falls, and the PL gets himself an Aegis. Pretty much seems like a repeat of the previous game, though in the previous game, Moneymakers at this point were 7-8k gold ahead, whilst this time around it's only 3k with a score of 7-5, and last time it was 11-1. Glimmercape protecting the techies. He's gonna blast off to the side there. Gets lifted up into the air. Doesn't really have the mana to protect himself. The stolen blast off is gonna be quite nice. And the Necro will have his ulti fairly soon. The Glimmercape comes out in time. That's gonna be saving him from the Reaper site. No stacks for you. Wignum will die either way. So you will get your pick off. But you definitely wanted the extra mana in the HP region, because both of the ones that you got were with the level 1 Reaper site. So we were hoping for a bit of a double there on the HP region and the mana region, but no such luck. Glimmercape comes out just in time. It's a very low cooldown item, only 12 seconds. People tend to forget it. You can literally spam this. It's not good versus the Reaper Scythe as it used to be. It used to give percentage-based damage decrease. Now is just a straight up 300 damage magic barrier. Of course, barriers now do include the magic resistance, the armor, and everything, but it's still not ideal. If you're low, you're gonna die, and in the percentage base changes, or as it used to be in the percentage base of the magic resist, then it really could make a difference in the late game. Now, if you're under half HP, you're most likely gonna die anyways. Especially if you're a high HP hero. Currently, Moneymakers don't have those, so that means that at this moment in time, it actually might be better than the old Glimmer Cape versus the Necro himself. Necro is going for a Lotus. His farming speed has definitely been decreased, but the farming speed of the Morphling and the Ember, it has just been ramping up, especially this Ember with the Radiance. He can farm with incredible speeds. Moneymakers, they're just keeping themselves away from battle. They don't want to be fighting into this Aegis. The more they're getting those big items, the Butterfly on the Morphling, the Radiance on the Ember, Shard on the Phoenix, the more the win probability is starting to swing back into their favor. Necro, he does have a Shard. Death Seeker, if you guys haven't seen it, now it's pretty much like Sven Stormhammer with an Aghanims. You do travel to the location of the Death Seeker. But it is something that you're gonna have to think about when fighting this Necro. It also helps him dodge some spells. Let's say the charge, he could do it, which was previously impossible for the hero. I guess with an Atos you can stop the Spirit Breaker's charge, but this is way better.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yell, tower. He doesn't have the Manta just yet. 12k net worth, 2.5k, almost 3k behind the Morphling. Moneymakers going towards top, the charge onto the Chen. We want to bring him down super fast, but Khalis, he has the mech, he has the ulti. He doesn't have the full pipe just yet. He still needs more gold. The egg does get dropped down. Now it's time to run inside of cybercats. They're still keeping their Chen alive. He's surviving through it all. Vierk needs to run away. Ember Spirit will be sending a remnant forward as Dark Lord just gets himself out. Doesn't have that much mana to work with, so he doesn't want to go in just yet. You deduce your egg, and your frontliner doesn't have any HP to work with, so now it's time for cybercats. Turn it around, and here's the Reaper side. Goodbye, Yegor. One of the highest net worth heroes on the map just gets cut down in half in a second. The cybercats maneuver around that fight beautifully, and in the end come out as the victors. Now they're the ones applying pressure to the enemy offlane tier 2, and unlike Moneymakers, they will be getting their objective down. The Phoenix does so much damage, but the thing is, you do not have that murderer, that one hero that finishes people off. You need longer fights on the side of Moneymakers, but versus a PL, a long fight is not always the best way to go. Okay, PL with an Aegis and the Necro versus just 3 heroes, you're not gonna die. You need the Ember, you need the Egg, you need so many things to fight this team. And cybercats, are they actually going for a lane of Rags here? I mean, you do have a Lycan, so I don't see why not. They're going to be going with the dust onto Vierk inside of the dust area, so the bulldoze doesn't really help you remove that one easily. There's just so many particles around in the air, and now you've lost your Spirit Breaker, meaning that even once the Ember comes back, it's not going to change the difference in strength. It's still a 4 versus 3, with the Aegis still being up on the PL. He just uses the Doppelganger, gets himself away, which means that the mana and the HP will be given back to him as the Aegis does expire, giving the goal lead of up to 3,000 here to cybercats after losing the early game again. Now they do strike back. Still, the 2 top net worth heroes are from the side of Moneymakers, but cybercats, they have dealt a significant amount of damage there to the Moneymakers economy and to their base as well. Yegor, charged up by the Rubik. He's in trouble here on the Ember. Does he have a remnant back? Yeah, he does. He will be stealing the Wisdom Rune, so that's quite nice, and gets himself back into the base. That's where the remnant was, so nice experience there for Moneymakers. Quite a lot of it will be going towards them as they do get the both 28-minute Wisdom Runes. Cybercats, they really haven't been having much luck with the Wisdom Runes in this game, or they haven't really paid attention all that much, maybe getting a bit too excited. It's a lot of damage on the Ancient Black Dragon. There's gonna be a lot of buffs here for cybercats. This time around, Chen does have a pipe as well, so good luck bringing people down. The truth is that you would like to bring down the PL or the Necro, but with all the heals coming through, it's gonna be next to impossible. There's also Lotus Orb on Necro, meaning that your Spirit Vessel is just not that big of a deal, and you don't even have any charges. The Phoenix, he has a better chance getting that charge by dying himself rather than doing anything to cybercats. And look at how fast things fall. They also have the Dark Troll Summoner, so those skeletons, they're gonna be rallying people around and just giving that extra bit of kick, that extra bit of damage here to the heroes and creeps on the side of cybercats. That's a lot of pushing power. Luckily for Moneymakers, their high ground defense, their high ground teamfight is very strong, but cybercats, they're in no rush. They're definitely in no rush to win this one. PL going to be going for a Lincolns. He's expecting the Morphling Axe to come out. But are they expecting the smoke of Moneymakers to come out? They'll be moving themselves towards the enemy side of the map, thinking twice about crossing the river. They do know roughly where their enemies are. They don't know exactly. They're only placing good vision there on the high ground next to the triangle. Cybercats, they know something is up. They're just gonna wait it out. Wait for the top lane to push in. Wait for the bottom lane to push in. You don't really care about the mid lane that much. And then Cybercats, well, Moneymakers, they're gonna have to respond. And they do. They send the Spirit Breaker on top. That's gonna give you some freedom to move around the map again. Never. There's a gem on DK Focus, so overall he would love to be able to deward his own triangle, though currently he doesn't know anything about it. Rubik, he loses his charge, he hasn't been stealing too many spells here. I guess Egg would be great, almost impossible to steal. Slide of Fist is good to dodge the charge, to dodge the damage, to grab people from afar, because I don't know how many of viewers know, if you use the Slide of Fist forward, it is like your hero is there, so you can actually lift somebody from pretty far away if you do have the Slide of Fist. Yeah, Gore doesn't have a BKB. He does have Ascension Kaya, so the status resistance is there. Flame Cloak as well. The thing is, without the BKB, this Ember, he cannot go deep into the fight. He's just gonna get demolished. Great healing Lotus on the Chen. He does have still only 1 point in Divine Favor, but still a lot of heals coming out from Cybercats. Makers, they need those Spirit Vessel charges. They would love to find the support just to be able to bring him down so that they can apply those. But at this moment in time, there's just a lot of things that can remove it from the key heroes on the side of Cybercats. Yep, we're hearing the howls. Moneymakers. Is it gonna make them afraid? It's not nighttime. Oh, the walls. They cannot pounce on them from afar. There's an Alpha Wolf there in the Chen army, so increasing the damage output of the PL illusions even further. He's the one with damage, but the Lycan is also a dangerous guy in terms of right clicks as well. Yeah, Aghanim Shard from the Lycan, the super creeps on the top lane. Moneymakers coming forward. Lucas going onto the high ground. Young G, Ogre Sill Totem down away. They'll be okay. Dark Lord, he's the one holding the line, sending in the illusions. They're sending in the army as well, and they have a huge one. Cybercats, they need to be fighting in a narrow passageway, just like the Spartans, to deal with the vastness of the army of Moneymakers. But we all know what happened to the strong Spartans. In the end, they got betrayed. They died. See who's gonna be the one that loses the positioning here of Moneymakers. Seem like anybody will for now. They'll have to TP to the top lane to defend. Actually, they stop it. Nope, they're gonna be going through. It's the Ember. He does have a Remnant back, so they have an Ember to TP. They have a Spirit Breaker to TP, and both of those heroes can rejoin the fight with relative ease. Roche is up. It's time to start it. Moneymakers. Let's see if they're gonna be happy with giving the fight to their enemies. Scanner will come. We know it's up. The Morphling Illusion are going to be sent in, immediately taken down by the PL and his army of illusions. Morphling caught there. Atos does get on top of him. Not to be controlled for a long period of time. Bash on PK Focus has to use the ulti there. He got spooked for a good reason. Shapeshift, you would want to fight now that you've used it. PL sending in the illusions. Vierk taking some damage. And it is going to be the Necro coming forward with the Death Seeker. Still alive, needs to be careful. He is taking a lot of damage here on the PL. But I don't know, they're going to turn it onto the Morph. He's just destroying with the Reaper Sight. Actually, the College does finish him off with the creeps there. The Reaper Sight didn't get the kill, but it's a kill nonetheless. Bignum eaten up by the Wolf Slayer, trying to run away. The damage output from Dark Lord just a little bit too high, and MoneyMakers, they just couldn't find their fight. The thing is, you have to be very careful at how you initiate onto cybercats because you know that they're stronger. You want a longer fight, but versus the PL, that's not a smart move, and you just don't know what to do. And we're seeing that it's hurting them. It's hurting them real bad, and now it's going to be losing them the Roche as well. Before the nighttime comes, the Roche will fall, so he's not going to be moving onto his dire side home, and he will be giving the Aegis and the cheese, or the Aegis and the cheese will be taken away from him and go into the pockets of the PL. He does take both of them, as the courier of the Morphling does steal the gem back, so that's quite nice. Yegor comes over to protect the courier just to make sure he's still alive. Yeah, going for the Rubik. He has the Glimmer Cape. If he gets it off, maybe he can live. Nope. We'll be finishing him off. And they even had that gem that they just saved, just in case that any kind of shenanigans from the Glimmer Cape were to come out. Necro is going for a heart, so he just wants to live for as long as possible. The Phoenix did die in the previous fight, so there is going to be a Spirit Vessel charge. But as the game goes on, those Spirit Vessels are less and less useful because there's more and more things to remove them. Though, actually, Cybercats, they only have the Mant on the PL and the Lotus on the Necro. That's the only thing. So what's with the nullifiers here? Morphling wants one. I can understand the Lycan, right? You do want to remove the Glimmer Cape, the Pavis, the reactive taser, all of those things that are kind of annoying you. But as an Empress, as a Morphling, like, what are you actually removing? Vierk, he barely survives there from the Reaper Sight, and the Necro didn't want to follow him. He could have actually died to the Heartstop Aurora, but Spirit Breaker, he has been eating healthy, exercising regularly, so his heart is not gonna stop that easily.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
More and more, the gold lead is being increased. Cheese on the Necro with the Death Shroud. With the Death Shroud, that's gonna be a lot of heal going his way. 75% amplification, so more than 4.5k HP will be given back to the Necro. Even if you put in the Spirit Vessel there, it's just not gonna be enough. Dark Lord, he just TPs away. Interesting. He found the Morphling, Lucas. He would like to escape, but yeah, that Satanic not really gonna be helping you much. He's surrounded by PL illusions. Force Majeure will at least be a consolation prize for MoneyMakers, but Cybercats, they have found themselves a pretty big one. Also the Necro TP there just to have the 8 toss to prevent the TP. You could see that he didn't want to use it. He understood that if he does use it, the Morphling could just wait for him to the side, use the TP, and you're not gonna have anything to stop him. The PL finishes the Scotty. He's going to be using it instead of the boots. He's 6 slotted. He has the Aegis, and it's time for a push. There is a buyback on the Morphling. Overall, you wouldn't want to use it, but you're going to be forced to do so. Thing is, even if you use the buyback, can you actually stand your ground versus Dark Lord, who's so freaking strong? And look at how many heals he's going to be getting from the side. There's also going to be the drums usage, making sure that the PL and his illusions do even more damage. As the Necro, Chen, they're going to be keeping the PL healthy. He does have the Aegis still going on top of Yegor, taking away a lot of his mana. Yegor is in trouble. He has to pop the BKB before the Reaper Sight does come through, as Young G was already lifting his arms. Roots of the Bearing now done on the chance, so that's going to be an even better buff for the PL to go forward with the push. His thing about backing out right now on the PL and with the Doppelganger, he'll do just that, sending in the illusions onto the Raxus Vierk. Lift not lasting long for them there. He does have a bulldoze still. Loses it. And that's a Manta on the Spirit Breaker. Not really sure what he is but he's removing that one. Maybe the slows a little bit, but it's still gonna be a second lane of racks. They will be bumping heads with the Necro. He stands his ground, no issues, not really taking any damage. Vieira Nullifier doesn't connect. The Glimmer Cape protecting him. Lucas on the side taking some damage from Dark Lord, but for now with the waveform, he'll get himself to a safe position. It just looks like they're helpless. Look at cybercats do whatever the hell they want. The shapeshift was used and the tower is just getting demolished. You have to go in right now. The jump in from the tech is not connecting onto anyone other than Young G, who still has a cheese. Not really a good target. Lucas is trying to focus everybody, but there's just too many things to focus. PL is keeping out everybody else, and the Ember is trying to do the same, but he's not a PL. He doesn't have an army of himself behind. We are coming from the side with a charge, and there is going to be a Phoenix Egg going to be used right now, but immediately the PL is going to be going forward for it. They're going to try to stop him from doing it, but Force Majeure comes in to assist as well as Dark Lord takes it out. He is low on the PL, but he still has the Aegis. Even if he dies, it's not the worst thing in the world. They're letting him live. They're letting him live. Hold the Moneymakers. They're not going to be holding any longer. As they call GG, the PL dies just before the Aegis expires. So either way, this fight, this game, this series, and these last 2 days were a disaster for Moneymakers, who are going to be ending the Eastern European DPC with a 3-4 score, meaning that they're going at least into a 3-way tie versus the other two teams with a 3-4 score, and that's Navi Jr. and of course Storm. So Moneymakers, Navi Jr., Storm, they're definitely it's certain that they are going to be fighting each other in the 3-way tie. Matreshka, will they be joining them in a 4-way tie? And will Sibe versus cybercats happen? All of that lies in the balance and on the next game. Sibe versus Matreshka will decide how many tiebreakers will be played tomorrow and when they will be starting. So guys, now we need to go on to a longer break. It's gonna be 45 minutes before we see our next series, the last series of the regular season here at the DPC Division 2 in Eastern Europe. Sibe versus Matreshka will end it for the Eastern European DPC for now.